What's up, fellow mountain athletes? Welcome to today's guided breathwork training session. High five, as always, for showing up. I'm excited to share this session with you. It's going to be focused on recovery. Okay, so we're gonna work on that recovery breathing protocol that we coach. Again, as usual, I assume if you're here, you're a member of our Basecamp platform, or you're in the midst of your Summit Ready training right now. Recovery is a really important part of your breathwork training, and we have some breathwork training protocols that is going to help with that. Recovery is in not only when you're training near sea level, at home, whatever, before your expedition, after a hard workout, etc., but also when you're on the mountain during your acclimatization. After a big acclimatization hike, this type of stuff we're going to work on today is going to be really relevant for that. So as usual, go ahead and hop down in that seated position. We're going to begin with the nose unblocking exercise. So with me, take a normal breath in. By the way, you're not going to need any special equipment for today's session, just a chair to sit in. Take a normal breath in, normal breath out. Go ahead and pinch your nose and hold your breath. Gently nod your head up and down. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Release your nose, breathe in through your nose immediately after. Breathe normally for 3 breaths. And after that third breath in and out, pinch and hold, nod your head up and down. We're looking for that medium level of air hunger, not a strong sensation of air hunger. When you reach that point, you can go ahead and release your nose, breathe in through your nose. Breathe normally again for 3 breaths. You might notice more moisture inside the nose. We're kind of softening up that nasal cavity. One more breath in, breath out, pinch and hold your breath, gently nod up and down. Focusing in on the body, clearing your mind. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes or so focused on our breathing. When you reach medium air hunger, release. Breathe in again. Good. Let's settle in to our breathing just a little bit more here. Let's do a couple of physiological sighs now. If you don't remember what exactly that is that double inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. So once again, seated position, breathe in through your nose. Pause just for a moment, sniff in a jolt of air again. Exhale through your mouth. Let it go just like that. In, pause, in, exhale. Let's do 2 more. Nice. Let's drop into some breathe light. Work on that CO2 tolerance. Go ahead and take your finger, place it just beneath your nose, resting on your upper lip. Relax your shoulders, relax the muscles in your face and your neck. Take a normal breath in through your nose. Normal breath out. You can feel the air run across your finger here. Do another normal breath. And now begin to slow down your breathing to the point that you can barely feel the air run across your finger on the way in and out. These breaths should be lighter, slower, and a bit less full than a normal breath. You can close your eyes if you want to, just to focus in on your breathing. Breathing light and slow. And after a little while, maybe you start to generate this feeling of air hunger, the feeling like you want to take a much bigger breath. We're going to stay here for the next 2 minutes or so, straddling that line of comfort versus discomfort with that air hunger. We want it to be somewhat challenging, but also tolerable. Even through that challenging sensation of air hunger, that out of breath feeling, do your best to control your breathing on the way in and control it on the way out. Less than a minute left. If your breathing's become too erratic, that means you've actually gone too far. That's too slow. Take a couple of normal breaths and then come back to that breathing, to that level that's tolerable and somewhat controllable, right? This is, again, helping train our carbon dioxide tolerance. It's going to help enable you to feel less out of breath and help you to maintain nasal breathing at higher and higher levels of exercise intensity. We're here for just 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and relax. Nice job. Okay, what we're gonna do now is just a little test, a little self-check. It's the location of movement test, which you might be pretty familiar with already. I want you to put one hand up on your chest, one hand on your lower belly. Go ahead and look down the front of your body and simply observe your breathing and take note to yourself of where you notice the movement happening when you breathe. Do you notice that upper hand move and expand with each breath, kind of in that chest space? Do you notice your shoulders moving? Do you notice your belly moving? Take 3 more breaths. Good. So just take a mental note to yourself where you notice the breathing. The most optimal place that I want you to notice the breathing is that lower area. That low area, we call this zone 1. Zone 1 is here. Zone 2 is like mid chest rib cage area. Zone 3 is up here. Not up here. We don't want to breathe up here. We want to breathe in zone 1. Even better if you could notice that breathing 360 degrees around your rib cage. So that's the most optimal location. Go ahead and stay there. We're going to begin that recovery breathing protocol now. Now, what that means is we're going to breathe deep breaths. Maybe to begin, we're going to do 10 breaths. Then maybe the next round, we're going to do 20 breaths. And we might finish off with 30. It kind of depends on how much time we have here. But we're going to do those very deep breaths in a cyclic way, in a wave-like motion. Something like that. Then after those deep breaths, we're going to drop into that breathe light again, just like we did before. This helps to get oxygen into the bloodstream, and then breathe light helps get oxygen out of the bloodstream and into our muscle tissue. I'll explain some of the science a little bit more at the tail end of this, but just know that this is our recovery breathing protocol. Okay? We're going to do a couple of rounds here. So to help guide the breathing, go ahead and put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. When you inhale through your nose, all of our inhales are through the nose and the exhales are through the mouth. I want you to first begin by inflating your belly. That lower hand should see most of the movement. Like 75% of your inhale should be through that belly. And then that last 25% should be the remainder of the capacity up here in the lungs. Then when you exhale, and you let everything go all at once. Okay? So that's the rhythm of our breathing. So let's go ahead and take those deep breaths now. We're going to go for 10. And if I didn't already mention this, we are doing this from a seated position. You can also do this laying down on the ground, but absolutely we don't want to be standing like I am. 5 more breaths. 3 more. 2 more. Last one, deeply in. Let it go. Drop into breathe light. Place your finger underneath your nose. Breathe very slowly to the point that you can barely feel the air as it runs across your finger on the way in, back out across your finger on the way out. Again, if you're holding on to any tension anywhere, face, neck, shoulders, back, tension being held in your midsection even, try to relax. Guide your breath with an intentional, relaxed state. And even though these breaths are much smaller and lighter than a normal breath, maybe you still notice where the movement's happening when you breathe. We're here for another 30 seconds. If you're hearing the wind outside my window, that's because I'm in windy Boulder, Colorado. Bringing in a little, peak-like wind flow into our session. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and relax. We're going to begin that next breathing round in just a moment. I'm actually going to go ahead and sit down for this. So let me just adjust my setting. Okay. So here we are. I am going to go ahead and guide you through from a seated position now, this breathing. That way, when I get up to that 20 breaths or so, and maybe deal with some of that lightheadedness, I'm not actually standing up because no one wants to watch me passing out on a live breathwork training session. All right. So to begin, again, same pattern as before, that wave-like motion. Let's go ahead. We're pulling in that air, bringing oxygen into the bloodstream. Let's go for 5 more. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Dropping into that breathe light now. Finger to the nose, breathing lighter and slower than normal. Just observe how your body feels right now. Do you feel any tingling sensations up in the face, the head, on your skin, down to your toes? Notice if this is easier than previous times doing breath light or harder. I want you to breathe so slowly that you can barely feel the air move across your finger. The slower you go, the quicker that air hunger sensation is going to build. At this point of the exercise, what we're doing behind the scenes, deep inside your cellular level, your red blood cells have hemoglobin in them. It's the protein that actually delivers oxygen. Here, when we drop in and breathe light, we're changing the pH of our blood, which helps to loosen the connection between the oxygen and the hemoglobin. That means oxygen is hopping off your hemoglobin and getting into your muscle tissue, as well as other tissues in the body. But obviously, for our recovery purposes, we're trying to get oxygen into the muscles. This is why this is called recovery breathing. Stay here for another 30 seconds or so. Try to maintain that slow, controlled breathing. Work with that sensation of air hunger. Just 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and relax. All right, we're going to go into one more round of this. This time, though, we're going to go for 30 deep breaths. So this is going to be the most intense version of this exercise, okay? Again, if you feel lightheaded, if you feel any sort of bodily sensations that you just aren't comfortable with, just go ahead and slow down your breathing. No harm, no foul. Again, seated position or laying down on the ground, maybe with your knees at a 90-degree angle, like that hook lying position that we've coached before. That's how I want you to do this. Okay, let's get ready. We're going to go for 30 deep breaths now. Go ahead and put your hands in place. We can use these as guides for that wave-like motion to our breathing. Let's begin. You're halfway there. Five more breaths. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Exhale and relax. Go ahead and put your finger underneath your nose. Drop in to breathe light. Just observe your body. Observe maybe that lightheadedness. Observe that tingling sensation in the body. If you have that, just observe the energy flowing through your body. Again, breathing very light to the point that you can barely feel the air run across your finger. You might also notice hearing, almost like a ringing sound in your ears. That deep breathing can change your auditory sense. That's also completely normal. What we did in that first round of breathing was we brought a bunch of oxygen into the system, right? Into the blood. We also exhaled a lot of carbon dioxide. And that very quick, more powerful exhalation, getting rid of that CO2, is going to change the blood pH. It's going to also make us feel potentially a bit lightheaded. It truly is hyperventilation. Now we're doing hypoventilation. We're slowing down the breathing. The pH in our blood's going to drop. And that's going to allow oxygen to get out of the blood and into your muscle tissue. Let's stay here for another minute or so. You can do it. Bring all of your attention to your breath. Coming down to our last 20 seconds or so. Make this a little meditation. Just trace the breath as it comes in and continue to trace the breath as it goes out. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and relax. Nice job. So that is our recovery breathing protocol. That round of breathing, maybe you build up from 10 to 20 to 30 breaths. After each of those, you're dropping into breathe light for about 2, maybe 3 minutes. It's a very simple shuttle system. Oxygen from outside the lungs, into the bloodstream, then out of the bloodstream and into your muscle tissue to optimize your recovery. Again, you can use that after a big workout, once a week maybe during your hard weeks of training. And then when you're on the mountain after an acclimatization hike, or maybe just once per day, it's going to help keep you recovered and fresh. So that's what we have for you today. Thanks a lot for joining. And I will see you again next week. Take care, everybody. Bye now.